Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to another episode of Cordial Convo, a talk series by AIChE CHES SVNIT Surat, where we sit down with inspiring seniors and professionals to learn from their journeys, experiences, and insights. I am Abhinav Chaudhary, member of Public Relations Committee, and today we have with us a very special guest, Mr. Kushagra Gupta, someone who has been actively involved with the AIChE CHES during his time in SVNIT and has since carved out a very strong professional journey for himself. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's pleasure to have you with us here.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Thank you for such a warm welcome, Uh,
so let's get started. So, sir, could you tell
sure.
us about your current role, what you're working right now, and what your typical day looks like?
Currently, I'm enrolled in Warwick Business School here in United Kingdom as a master's student. So I'm currently studying masters in management, starting this September. And a typical day usually, currently I just am done with my exam. So this is the festive season here. So it's break time and a time which we have to focus on our assignments right now. But typically when it's turn time, you have your daily sessions for study sessions, workshop sessions, and then the workshop sessions usually last 2 to 3 hours a day. Apart from them, you have your online classes. Most of the time, usually is involved in networking. I mean, you have to attend events, or for example, group work, group projects and stuff. Apart from that, job applications take up most of the time, or if some are involved in part-time jobs, then the part-time job takes up some time. So that's typically what usual day looks like here.
That sounds interesting. So, moving forward, looking back,
Mhm,
how did your journey evolve from being a chemical engineer student at SPNIT to where you are today? And were there any
mhm.
turning points?
Okay, so chemical engineering student. I guess the major turning point for me was the COVID era. So before COVID, I was hell bent on working in chemical engineering industry. I was very interested in it because of the in-person sessions which I had with professors and stuff. And I think I performed very strongly academically in my first year as well. But then COVID hit. I couldn't find as much interaction as others when it comes to the online sessions. And again, I joined some committees, was part of some group assignments and collaborative group work as well. And I found my interest shifting towards I'd say some developing a holistic approach of various industries and stuff. I mean, that didn't happen outrightly in first or second year itself, but by the end of third year, I think I was pretty much clear that I didn't want to stick with one industry. And then came the time of Deloitte and consultancy firms which visited our colleges. And I saw an opportunity to develop understanding of various fields and sectors. And again, I had in the back of my mind to someday pursue management. So I assumed that working in these companies or gaining such skills of different industries, for example, would be more aligned to my future goals and aspirations. So that led me to my role at Deloitte in consulting specifically. After 2 years, I did realize that I this was the time to again take on what I had originally planned to the management studies, that is. And I did also find that I lacked in some skills. For example, when it came to broader strategy level discussions, I mean, first of all, you aren't really involved in those discussions back in India when you're in analyst roles. But then, even if you were involved, you would be expected to develop some insights or provide some insights, which without some foundational knowledge is pretty difficult to come up with, right? Especially when you're talking to, for example, senior managers or your onshore managers. So that and the combination of that and the prestige and the education quality and exposure which an abroad education offers, that combination led me to pursue the masters in management here in UK. So that's pretty much my how my journey has been so far.
Nice. So, during our undergraduate years, what domains or skills initially attracted you, and did those interests change over
Mhm.
time?
It did. I think there are a lot of transitions involved in my life when I look back at it. I mean, when I joined college, I was very interested in only the academics. I didn't as much pursue collaborative group works or discussions initially. Then I was also I think my interest shifted towards graphic designing first. So I joined the innovation committee and tried to do some work with design in CHES first, then also joined the CHRD design group. Post then social media work for 1 or 2 years, and I designed many social media posters and stuff for different groups in our college. I also worked with, I think, our professors designing the chemical engineering brochure, for example, and photography, and then filmmaking with cinephilia. So I think a lot of creativity stuff back in that time. And then my interest shifted towards management when I took the leadership roles in committees, for example, vice presidency in chemical engineering, uh, then yeah, head position in CHRD design group, and then with cinephilia as well. So in that period, usually you have to just get the work done by others by motivating them, or you have to communicate the value you are providing to them or your group is providing to them. So I mean, the entire period actually helped me realize that this is something I am interested in doing, and this is something which kind of motivates me. And then I just had to weigh options of companies and experiences that would better align with these aspirations. And again, that shifted me to working in consultancy, uh, and finally management here. So yeah, a lot of transitions when it comes to interests.
I think this happens with most of us.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess that's the entire
So,
point of engineering back in India. I mean, the engineering is just for the name, and again, engineering means to engineer something, right? So, different experiences, interests.
so moving forward, you were actively involved in the AICHE CHES. So, what
Mhm.
motivated you to join this chapter first in the first place?
Mhm. Okay, so I guess the early motivation was I think we had the induction with chemical engineering seniors, which the seniors in the group. So at that point of time, I didn't have many social groups I was involved in, and I kind of wanted to network or at least get some people to talk to gain more experience. I mean, that was the entire point of university, right? Coming to a college. And that wasn't getting fulfilled for me until CHES. This was the first group which I had joined. So that was the entire motivation I had to actually get to know people, gain more experiences from, for example, people who have already landed jobs, and then the people who are currently academically involved and are just preparing for jobs. And then, for example, the second yearites who were not as much thinking of jobs, but then had more experience when it comes to academics and other experiences you can gain while completing your bachelor's. So, experience and talking to other people, uh, and working on my social skills, I think those were the primary motivators for me.
So, you told that you had held many responsibilities at the CHS. So, what
Mhm.
experiences that it taught you beyond the academics?
Beyond academics. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to academics itself, I guess it's the competitions which we have in CHES, which led me to develop skills in softwares, especially answers, for example, the simulation softwares and stuff. But most of the skills which I actually gained from CHES were after academics, the soft skills which usually use the involve which are usually termed as soft skills. And I'd say a major soft skill would be, I mean, communication. It pretty much involves everything. I mean, active listening, uh, trying to understand people, developing empathy and stuff. So communication was a very big a skill which I did develop through CHES. While I mean, first while talking to the seniors, professors, and people who were senior to me, and then again uh, by talking and getting the work done by the juniors themselves. So a wide spectrum of communication itself was. I mean, I was exposed to this entire spectrum through CHES itself, just one group. So I think that's what CHS offers, which I mean, other groups do offer it, but not to the intensity which you might get exposed to back in CHS, because it's not just academics. And apart from the university exposure itself, we also had the exposure of international committees, for example, the AIChE itself, and then international competitions. So, I mean, a lot of work involved, and if you can get your hand in all the stuff, in, I mean, even even if in some of the stuff, then I think that could be quite beneficial for you. So, yeah.
So every journey has challenges. So what were your
Mm.
some major challenges that you faced in college or in your early career, and how did you
Mhm.
overcome them?
Okay, I guess Mm, the most challenging part of it, which makes itself evident in every journey, is the imposter syndrome. So it's basically you're not as sure as others of your own achievements. I mean, achievements and accomplishments. So you have some work, you have done some work, you can visibly see the results, but still you're unsure of whether you're actually capable of doing it again. That's something I've usually struggled with back in when it comes to academics, when it comes to group works, or I guess leadership positions or voluntary positions, and then professionally as well. But then uh, a major it was a major obstacle, but I think something which did help me was kind of trying to look back at your own work, and then again being involved with others, so you're constantly reminded of the work you did. I mean, again, talking to you, getting approached by juniors again and again, that kind, and again having to tell them what you did and what the result of it was. That kind of reinforces your own trust in yourself. So that's a way which help me. I mean, I wouldn't say overcome it, but it kind of reduced the intensity of the challenge itself. And another major challenge would be time management, which most of us do struggle with, especially when it comes to balancing academics, job preparation, or being involved in part-time jobs, and along with that balancing different, I mean, most of us are involved in various societies as well at university level, and trying to leave an impact in all of those areas simultaneously is very difficult, especially balancing that with mental and physical well-being. So I think I'm still not as good as I hope to be at it, but with experience, you get better at it, because you learn prioritization of stuff. I mean, you learn to focus your energy, you learn to depend on others. And that's something I think the group works and the various societies in college, and especially CHES, does help you with.
Oh, it was quite insightful.
Thank you.
So what advice would you give to your current CHS members and chemical engineering students who are still exploring their paths?
When it comes to exploring your paths, I'd say, I mean, it kind of depends on the context as well. I mean, the year you are in your studies. I mean, most of us, when we are in our first or second years, academics should be our top priority, I'd say. I mean, and I think if you want a tip, I'd say something which helped me was simply attending the lectures attentively. If you think being involved in other societies takes away from the time of self study, which you need to devote to your studies, I think a major chunk of self study required is reduced by just attending the lectures and being attentive in the class. So that helped me, and making notes, for example. So at say academics, and that's how you can kind of balance your academics. I mean, that worked for me, and it should work for most of you as well. And then again, when it comes to societies, have a broader goal. I mean, by the end of second year or the start of third year, you already get to know your strengths and weaknesses and what motivates you. So I'd say start exploring what actually happens after the university, what different industries uh, provide you, and what kind of aligns the best with your own motivations. I mean, some could be motivated by studies, so some would find it better for them to actually gain a deeper understanding of their own subject through masters abroad or in India itself. Some would find practical work more useful, so they might want to transition to work. And then again, when it comes to work and when it comes to future studies, there's a wide spectrum once again involved. So you might study chemical engineering in college, but you might find yourself getting more interested in coding. So you might want to transition in studies in coding or job in coding. And then again, when it comes to that specific field, you have to see what particular position or what particular company and its values aligns most with yours. So that's I'd say that could be a starting point for most of us. And then, I mean, once you start that, I think you kind of get the gist of it. You talk to the seniors, make the most out of your seniors, make the most of their experiences. I mean, that kind of reduces a vast chunk of time which you would waste in trying to explore everything by yourself. So yeah, I think that's an experience you can definitely make use of.
We would definitely try to uh, apply these
Yep.
advices. So, if you had to leave our students with one key message, whether about career or college life or
Hmm.
self growth, what would it be?
Okay, this is something I learned very recently in my studies here and through the practical sessions, and that is do try to build your own personal brand and convey your own story. I mean, your story, not your degree or your work or your skills are necessarily the key differentiating factor. It's your own story, who you are. And when it comes to crafting your own story, uh, try to make others the hero. I mean, try to, for I can explain this with an example such as if I talk about my experiences, it would be better described by talking about how I left an impact on others, how they benefited from it, what the impact of my work was on, I mean, the stakeholders, for example, rather than talking about what I did itself. So do build your own stories. There could be different experiences involved in your entire professional and the academic journey as well. And in all of those experiences, try to differentiate yourself by leaving an impact on others, I'd say. And I mean, if you follow this, your work itself kind of becomes a depiction of who you are, and that differentiates you from others. I mean, that's something which no one can replicate. I mean, experiences are what makes us unique, right? And you just have to focus on how to tell that experience to others. So that's something I did learn, and I think it's quite beneficial to actually master.
So, thank you for sharing your journey and experiences so openly. I'm sure our audience will have gain a lot of clarity and motivation from this conversation. So, on the behalf of
Sure, sure.
AIChE CHS SVNIT, thank you once again for joining us on Cordial Convo. And to our audience, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories.
Yep.